Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This video is mainly for those idiots who still believe that Ukraine is fighting Russia, okay? And this article that I have here comes from Ukrainska Pravda, so comes right from his, how do you call it? From the horse's mouth, remember? So look at this little title and you tell me. Ukrainska Pravda. Ukraine is in, I'm quoting, good position for counteroffensive, supreme allied commander in Europe says. How do you know? How do you know? Is it because you're planning it? How would you know that? Do you think let's say my friend from Zimbabwe, a general from Zimbabwe, can assess the same thing, say, hey, Ukraine is in a good position for a counteroffensive? How do you know, my Zimbabwean friend? Unless you have the plans in front of you to assess it. Unless you just talk smack. So let's see what this weasel is saying. Ukrainians are in a good position for a counteroffensive against the Russian military. How do you know? Because I have the plans in front of me, Emil. Shut up. Okay. General Christopher Cavoli, the supreme ally, commander of Europe, during hearing of the US Senate Committee on Armed Services, as reported by European Pravda with a reference to CNN. All these guys are connected. They're part of the same team. The military, the Senate Committee, and the European Pravda, which are the last guys, the weakest link, and then the CNN, the spreaders of the truth. Quote, according to the modeling that we've very carefully done with them, the Ukrainians are in a good position. What do you mean? I thought Ukraine is fighting Russia. How come you are involved? Because we are. I don't want to hear those idiots again saying, oh, Russia cannot beat Ukraine. I mean, come on, use 2 more neurons. Okay, to the 3 that you already have. So make it 5. 5 neurons, make the connections between over there, and then you realize, oh, how can the ally general over there, Kovarty, know that Ukraine is in a good position? Why don't I know that? Because you're not involved, Emil. Oh, really? Okay. I don't have access to the plans? No, Emil, you don't. Shut up. Okay, got it. But how is Mr. Cavoli? No. How does he know? Well, because he's got eyes to see and a mouth to suck. Anyway, let's go back here. I'm so irritated with these idiots, man. Cavoli, and listen to this, my friends. Cavoli has added that the US has worked with the Ukrainian armed forces on a possible surprise attack. What do you think this word worked with means? Do you think they tie their shoes? They're what? They give a shine to their boots? What do you think that means? Worked with Ukrainian armed forces on a possible surprise attack, and they know that in a good position for a counteroffensive. Because they're one and the same. Cavoli has also stated that Russia's ground forces are larger today than at the beginning of the full-scale war, despite the numerous losses in the worst war against Ukraine. And I'm quoting, the Russian ground force has been degenerated somewhat by this conflict, although it is bigger today than it was at the beginning of the conflict, Cavoli said. How do you know that? Oh, you're involved. Okay, got it. I made a video today on an article where they said that the Russians have about 369,000 fighters currently on the front. Only 369, so 370,000. That's it. From a possible general mobilization of, let's say, 30 million. So that's nothing. Anyway, according to Cavoli, in addition to ground forces, Russia has a number of other capabilities that it can use. Yes, about 30 more million, yes. The Air Force, and I'm quoting, has lost very little. They lost 80 planes. What? He said they have another 1,000 fighters and fighter bombers. What? I think the Ukrainians said they down about 400 Russian planes, and you come with 80 now? Hey, someone's lying. They have another 1,000 fighters and fighter bombers. When I said this about, I don't know, a year ago, people were like, okay. I'm not saying Cavoli is the pinnacle of truth, but why would you say lost only 80 planes? His interest would say, oh, Russians lost 1,000 and they have 80 more, that's all. And I'm quoting. So they still use all of their conventional power as well. No, they're not. The 30 million people, they don't. And they mix them all together, Cavoli added. Background: General Christopher Cavoli is convinced the Ukraine will receive the promised equipment for a counteroffensive in time. Me too. I'm voting with Cavoli. Not that voting matters, but, just play it. Yes, I'm with you. Let's count Emil's vote. Let's say yay or a nay. Yay. Okay, yes. We counted, Mr. Kosman. Yay. These guys, it's a parody, man. It's a parody. Sometimes I'm like, before I make a video, I read a few words in the article. I'm like, man, I mean, really, how can I make this turn into a kind of like an adult conversation? Or to make a video that at least I try to elevate it from a retarded article with a low level of information and logic to something that makes sense to us. Because really, if I would say like a toddler, like they say it, you would be like, what's going on over here? Well, that's how, when I look at some of their articles, most of them their articles are like this. I'm like, guys, what you say, we look at it as an adult and we interpret it differently. Cavalti, whatever your name is, Cavalcanti, whatever his name is, Cavoli, you could not know if Ukraine is in a good position unless you're having the plans in front of you. The Russian resources and the Ukrainian resources. Otherwise, you would not be able to figure it out, my friends. It's like I'm right here, they play chess over there and say, hey, you know what? Let's say Karpov is gonna beat Kasparov today. Why? Because Karpov has a good move tonight, but I don't know what's on the table. I don't know how the pieces are distributed, but somehow I say it. Unless I look over it and I look over the freaking chess, board, there's no way for me to assess who's doing better. Jesus, is like a chicken would figure things out. But they want us to be less than a chicken. You know how the chicken looks when on one eye at you? That's how they want us to look at the issue, with one eye, because they have sideways, no? Like, that's how they want us, like chicken with one eye. One eye doesn't give you depth, okay? That's a problem. That's why we have like this and gives us depth, because the eyes are in front, not to the side. And one eye, close one eye and you miss the depth. Two eyes, because of the angle of the eyes, and the brain understands it in depth. Is a parallaxic angle. Is a parallax angle. Is that what it is? Yes, well, that's what it is. The angle of parallax. That's what it is. You figure out the distances with this and that, and that's how you approximate. Well, see, I know physics too. Anyway, anyone knows that one, right? Yes, even the Supreme Allied Commander of Europe knows that Ukrainians are in a good position without even using both eyes, just one, like a chicken. Not even looking at, Bobby Fischer and Karpov or whomever you want me to use over there, okay? I'm being now turning into chess. My cousin will appreciate that, and my family as well. They're chess players. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.